my understanding is that you started and are still heavily involved in real estate. But at what point was getting involved in the entertainment industry? Was that always a goal for you?
Actually, not really. I had a lot of goals in the real estate business, and then I guess after many years in real estate and pretty much doing a little bit of everything in real estate, we decided to, I guess the best way to put it is put a little more fun into my life, and as which what's fun. So I started thinking about what to do, and entertainment kind of hit me, and and we decided to get involved in Broadway and Las Vegas, shows, and then movies, and now TV actually. And we also threw thoroughbred horses into the mix.
Yeah, that's a really interesting, eclectic group of passions that you have there. But I want to ask about the Broadway and the TV. But what role in general have movies played in your life?
You mean pre-investment in movies, or? Well,
yeah,
no, I mean, just like everybody else, we all love a great movie, and I certainly do, and so I just felt it would be something fun to get involved in, and so we started investing in it. But when talking about fun and it's the work is as hard as any other business or company I've been involved in. There's nothing easy about being in the entertainment business. I mean, and the fun comes, with the satisfaction of doing a project that's kind of heartfelt and exciting and comes out well, and that everybody likes. So, I mean, that's a great feeling. And then, of course, opening night, premiere, after parties, So you have, it's 1,000 hours of hard work and a few hours of fun, I guess, at the after party.
Yeah, but when you started producing films, what was the most surprising thing about the process for you? What was the biggest learning curve?
Just hard, just that, there's probably 2,000 to 3,000 movies that are produced every year, and there's really maybe 25 or 50 that end up in the theaters, and maybe a couple of dozen that make money. Maybe my numbers are off a little bit, but I don't think by much. It's very risky and very difficult.
For something like Very Good Girls, which just opened, it's got such a great cast and a first-time director, but she's a long-time writer, and she's a terrific writer. But it's a smaller scale, kind of coming-of-age film. What are the challenges of having that picked up for distribution and actually getting it out there?
Well, hasn't been easy. It's difficult. We felt the film came out. We liked the way, Naomi produced it, and it came out well. But she was a first-time director, so it was she had a hard times, in figuring it out. But we think she got there with it, and then the casting was great. The talent that she selected, and we got in the movies, and the film was, all did a great job. But it's difficult to, it's a drama with a little comedy in it, and it's the action films that seem to do well. It's difficult to get a drama and a comedy, picked up by a studio. And do a wide distribution. So Tribeca, ended up picking it up, and they're doing a great job on it. VOD is a big thing now, and it's been out on VOD and iTunes and it's been very successful selling on VOD and iTunes, and we're just in the theaters this weekend with a platform release, which is starting slow to see how it develops in the theater, and then we'll have DVD, and I'm sure it'll do well on DVD also.
I love VOD, as a consumer, and as a lover of independent film, it's kind of a godsend for independent film, but do we know how successful that format is? Because the average Joe, and I don't necessarily think this is a good thing, but the average Joe can look and they can see the box office grosses every weekend, but it's not as clear a picture with VOD, the success of that.
Yes, but we have the numbers. The early numbers are great. I don't remember exactly what they were, but they were, we were in the top few selling on VOD, and the numbers were more than we expected it to be. And unfortunately, I can't remember exactly what that number is. But it's done very well on VOD. I mean, digital. Because Liz Olsen and Dakota, they both have a following on Twitter, and they just have big followings digitally. So when they help promote it, and which was so that's probably why it is success.
I'm such an old movie geek that I was really excited that Richard Dreyfuss was in it because it's always great to see.
He had a nice little part in it, and he's funny. And what was nice is that him and I were both born and raised in Brooklyn, so we were shooting pretty close to where my home was and where Richard's home was. So that was fun for both of us.
Well, so you're talking about the elements of this movie that made it attractive to you in terms of a piece of material that you responded to, and the package was there with the stars, and what in general do you look for from a project, because you've done several big action films with Mr. Wahlberg.
Right. Well, we look at we have several people in the company that read the scripts, and we all have to like it. So we have a half a dozen people loving the scripts that we do, which is important. And then of course director and producer is very important. Just like with we like Naomi. Actually her husband was a director, and so our whole family is all about either directing or writing or producing talent. They've got as you know, her daughter and son-in-law are actors and son, and she just and she was nominated for an Academy on one of what she wrote earlier. Saw another script, and she was a great writer. We just loved the script, and she came along with it as a director. And after we met with her several times, her passion for this script and this film, which was, I think, a little bit about her past life, her early life when she was young. I mean, she just has so much passion that we went with her as a director, and we felt she did a fine job.
How much of a presence are you during shooting?
I was there pretty much every day. I'm in a production, either in a production office or on set. I don't spend that much time on set. Michael London of Groundswell was involved with us as a producer also on the movie, and he was on set. He was on set quite a bit also, and but no, when I finance 100% and a producer on a movie, like Very Good Girls, we're there all the time. Otherwise, like with Lone Survivor, I was there, often, but not every day, And because there we had, Pete Berg, we had obviously a great director and great producers involved with Lone Survivor. And I was more of a financier than what you would call a hands-on producer. It wasn't necessary. We were involved in more of the cutting of the movie and helping out on the script.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess, what's fascinating to me about the process is it seems like, a million a million issues or problems will pop up in a given day, but the biggest challenge must be for everyone involved they have to make compromises, but to make sure that those compromises do not affect the quality of the product.
Oh, absolutely. And we haven't, we wrote the check when it was necessary to write the check, so we didn't feel on the financial end, which happens in a lot of movies where they run out of money and they don't have enough to do this and that, or whatever. When Naomi wanted to shoot, we shot.
Yeah.
And so those compromises we didn't have to make. We didn't make on this film.
I wanted to ask you something because we were discussing on the show last weekend the movies that studios tend to greenlight, and I see something like the Transformers movie, which is obviously a huge success, but we're talking about a budget of something like a $250 million. Right. But then you have a movie like the Purge, which was made for $9 million, and it quadrupled that on opening weekend. But I feel like studios don't see that as the success story. They want to keep budgeting the $200 million movies. But is that wrong-headed thinking? Do you think?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you what you last said.
Do you think do you think that kind of thinking is wrong-headed? That we need to make more smaller budgeted films for maximum profit?
I don't know. I mean, it seems the big movies, the franchise movies do well for them. For the studios. But honestly, I can't give you a definitive answer on that. It's just you just don't know what movie's going to hit. The franchise movies, once they hit, Transformer 1, 2, 3, 4. All successful. Mm-hmm. Including the merchandising. You have a lot of merchandising as part of those movies, which you don't have on the smaller films. And there's a big profit center there with the merchandising also.
Yeah.
And I don't know. They tend, Warner Brothers does a hell of a job with their franchise and big movies, and they do great with them. And I guess their overhead and their cost, it's kind of difficult for them to make money on the smaller movies. I guess maybe that's the answer. And but you can't beat a Batman and a Superman and a Spider-Man. Those movies just do great in the box office. And the smaller ones, particularly the dramas. The dramas and the comic dramas just don't do as well in most cases.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Spider-Man, that was one of your entries into the world of Broadway, and I know that you recently produced the revival of Pippin.
Right.
Is there what's the special appeal of the stage for you, investing in the stage?
I wouldn't say nothing specific. Just we always love the theater, my family, and we enjoy watching the shows and going to Broadway, particularly as well as Vegas, and always wanted to be involved in it, and so we are, and we enjoy, right now we're working on. We enjoy getting involved early on, and particularly when you have something successful, it's great. Spider-Man, even though Spider-Man, we're talking about taking that on tour now. And just everybody who saw it just kind of loved it. Maybe the book and storyline wasn't as good as it could have been, but the spectacular part, the action, flying around, 40 miles an hour up there on top of the audience. Every kid in America who saw it loved it. There's nothing not to love. So it's just a great feeling when you do a successful show. Pippin, Diane Paulus did a phenomenal, and Barry Weiss did a phenomenal job in directing and producing it. Just taking, for what, 40, 50 years ago and making it, more 2020, show, and Pippin came out great, and just a great feeling. We're working on one now with Diane Paulus and Barry Weissler again. That is called Waitress, which was a movie about 10 years ago.
Yeah, I love that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a musical. Hopefully, we'll probably be out on Broadway in about a year. And we had the first reading a month or so ago, and the score is great, and that's something, you know. So to start being involved in something from the early stages, early on, and working with, you know, great people like Diane Paulus and Barry Weissler, you know, in the business, it's just a great feeling, and particularly when it comes out, you know, successful, and you end up winning a Tony with it, which I'm pretty sure we'll probably do for Waitress.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed this, that the kind of the marriage between stage and film, it's been getting stronger over the years. That I'm seeing a lot of Broadway shows that are based or inspired by films and popular films, and it makes sense because there's that name recognition already built in there.
Exactly. You know, exactly. Well, as we saw with Jersey Boys,
yeah.
And actually Harvey Weinstein bought the rights for the movie rights for Pippin. So no.
Oh,
yes.
okay. I was actually going to ask you about that because another thing that I was discussing recently was the movie musicals, and I thought, why haven't they made a Pippin? And so wow, that's ironic. That's great. So Harvey Weinstein bought it.
Yeah, he bought the film rights for it, and you know, so looking forward to whenever that might happen. It's a little early now for him to be, you know, doing that. He's probably going to wait for the world tour. You know, we'll be touring Pippin starting in a couple of months. Actually, we'll be touring around the U.S.
Wow.
So you know, Harvey will wait till it gets a little more name recognition, I'm sure, before he produces it.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
and you're moving into TV, and you know, TV is just spectacular now. I mean, that's the most exciting form right now of entertainment. What are the special challenges associated with TV for you?
It's I would say it's similar to the movies. You know, you mitigate by, you know, you shoot. You know, well, I mean, the challenge is just getting the right project. You know, the right script and the right showrunner, and getting a network to pick it up. I mean, that's, you know, those are the challenges for sure. But we have about 8. Let's see, probably close to a dozen in development right now. We partnered with a Norwegian company, and we have a crime TV show going on that will be produced in Norway that we have the U.S. rights for, as well as the world rights, you know, in partners with the Norwegian company. And we have several reality shows in development in partners with Phil Guerin, who is the exec producer of Shark Tank. So we're looking forward to, you know, doing some successful and great things in TV also.
Well, is there anything, because you've dabbled in so much and excelled at so much, is there anything that's missing from your life? Is there any other area that you dream of going into?
No, but actually we're working on something. Myself, Marty Ehrlichman, and Michael Cole are working on a big production in Las Vegas now at the Venetian Theater. That we just have a verbal agreement to get the Venetian Theater. We're the Phantom played at the Venetian, and I'm extremely, and so they're looking forward to developing this. Working on selecting a director right now. Basically, it's going to be a folly show, like from the 40s or 50s, but it's going to be, you know, 2020 version. So, you know, with you know, not 40 dancers, it'll be 80 dancers, and one production number will be better than the other. You know, with and just a little bit of everything we hope to have in it. We just hope to have, you know, like 8 numbers and every one of them better than the previous one. And so to be like the world's most spectacular show ever is what we're shooting for.
Well, Vegas is the place to put that together, definitely.
Exactly, Vegas, and then the venue at the Venetian is a great venue also. So looking forward to seeing, you know, to working on that.